Hello fans and welcome. It's finally here, the inaugural season for the Utah Hockey Club, and the Two Line Pass podcast will be there with you for every game. I'm Randon, and alongside my co-hosts Dustin and Ryan, we will bring you inside the team, giving you the latest news, highlights, and an in-depth analysis on everything about the Utah Hockey Club. Welcome to another episode of the Two Line Pass. Well, hello, fans. Welcome. It is game day here on the Two Line Podcast with you. I'm Randon. This is Ryan. Dustin is day-to-day with the flu or an undisclosed upper body injury. We're not sure. But Ryan and I are going to be with you today, and it's here. We're ready for it. The preseason is over. Tonight, the puck drops on the inaugural season for the Utah Hockey Club. I am jacked. Ryan, how are you feeling?
I am feeling excited. It's going to be a start to a good season, opening off at home, big against the Chicago Blackhawks, who, like us, not necessarily a great team. So we're going to have, in my opinion, a better game because it's two teams that are evenly matched. And Connor Bedard will be there, so that'll bring out some exciting fans. So I'm excited. It's going to be a good kickoff to the year.
It's going to be so amazing. ESPN's going to be at the Delta Center. The game is nationally televised on ESPN. Couldn't start the season any better in terms of national hype, in terms of you've got on one side your newest franchise that's going to bring a lot of new eyeballs to the screen. On the other side, you have the premier future player in Connor Bedard, and for those of you who are going to the game, obviously you're going to be watching the Utah Hockey Club dominate, but you're also going to see a look at one of the pinnacle hockey players in Connor Bedard. So I hope you guys all enjoy it, and let's get ready. Let's talk about it. So today's episode, we need to recap the preseason, which Utah Hockey Club just dominated. Ryan was the only member of the podcast. We told you he was there on location. Ryan was able to attend the preseason game. Dustin and I just watched it on TV like the schlubs we are. But Ryan's going to give his thoughts on that game, and then we're going to kind of spitball how we think the team played in the preseason, some players that we thought really excelled in the preseason, and then we're going to run through October. We're going to run through the games, get you guys ready and excited for this. And then we've got multiple pre-game or post-game episodes coming at you. We got a big October, Ryan, and let's get into it. Last night, as we record this on Saturday at least, the Colorado Avalanche came to town, and the Utah Hockey Club dominated them for the second time this preseason. And Ryan, you were in attendance, and I think this is the first time, at least in Utah, that you have seen an NHL game. Break that down for us, the pacing and what it was like to see the Utah Hockey Club up close and personal.
So, yeah, it was the first NHL game. Now, I remember back in, the early 20-teens, somewhere in 2012, 2013, we went to a Los Angeles Kings, San Jose Sharks exhibition game that they play. But that was just a bunch of glorified AHLers trying to earn their way onto a roster spot. There was nobody play. But this was an actual, first-line guys, kind of like we saw Cale Makar out there. Kimi Ranta for the Avalanche. And then on our side, Connor Ingram was played an outstanding game, by the way. But yeah, it was good. The game is so much faster than I expected to see in person. And they're so big, everybody. And that is one of the main points I wanted to bring up about our team seeing them in person. Is our forwards are not big. We kind of got tossed around a lot there, doing the whole dump and chase, battling behind the ball. It's not going to be our game, guys. We're not going to win hard battles in the quarters. That's not us. We're going to go for speed, which we had. I was very impressed with the forward speed. The in-zone defense, a little sloppy. Now, I'm assuming that'll just come with time, getting it down, and thank God Connor Ingram is Connor Ingram, because that game easily could have been 5-0 Avalanche or 5-2 Avalanche, but Ingram said, not today. He's not having it. And then Durzi and Sergachev both looked phenomenal. Sergachev took a couple unlucky penalties. One was a hooking call that wasn't a hooking call, I believe, and then a delay of game where it just kind of floated over the glass. Nothing he could really do on that one. I also didn't like the referees in that game. They put the whistles away until the third period. and then everything was a penalty. It was a little weird. The penalty kill is where I noticed a lot of good things from Ian Cole, who is my standout player of watching the. He's the eldest member of the defense. He's the veteran, and they gave him the A, and I couldn't be more proud of him to have that A because he was just stay at home, nothing fancy, nothing flashy, but he did his job every time. He dominated that second PK unit, keeping. Well, I don't think we gave up a power play goal. I don't think we gave up like multiple power play shots on each power. I think they maybe got one on each power play, but he also killed the last 30 seconds of the game with their goalie pulled, which to me that says a lot when you have Ian Cole's 37, 38-year-old ass going out there and Durzee's just sitting on the bench. Nothing against Dursey. He played a good game, but Ian Cole has just been that good at being the stay-at-home defenseman. And he was great. I couldn't be happier with his signing. Also, this is just kind of random. I was very close to the suite that the players and the organization was at the Maverick Center. Tried to get in Bill Armstrong to talk. He was a little busy. I couldn't quite get up there. But by God, is that a big man? Bill, I didn't realize that. Bill Armstrong is a large dude and he's good looking. Just like that is an intimidating dude. And I don't know. I liked it. I think we played as good as we could have played against Colorado. You know what I mean? Like without having our top line guys really out there. Oh, and then Dylan, don't take my Gunthers, absolutely came through again, scoring another goal. He's gonna be amazing. Like this, he doesn't even give a shit. He's like, fuck the NHL. Screw you. You guys ain't nothing. I'm scoring 50, maybe 60. But yeah, it was a good game to see live. I think we have some work to do, but I think we're basically a brand new team, especially when we bring in a whole new defensive core to work with our existing forwards, and that can be a little tricky to get kind of going. But hey, dominated preseason. Now, sure, some people out there are going to say, oh, well, you guys just beat up the AHL affiliates. The fuck we did. We just dominated Colorado, and the only one missing was Nathan McKinnon. Now, if Nate Dogg was in the lineup, would it have been a different game? Who's to say? It doesn't matter. Didn't happen. So, but yeah, I like it. I think it's going to be a good season. Like if we keep our expectations where they're at right now, I think it'll be as long. And the building itself, we're at the Maverick Center, not the Delta Center, and the Maverick Center is built for hockey. Like it is the perfectly built arena for hockey, and that place was booming, and it wasn't even sold out, and it was one of the loudest arenas crowds I've been in for a hockey game. It was like I'm excited. The fans were loving it. It's gonna be a good year, guys.
Man, the fans have really shown out for all the preseason games, and the excitement level that they've brought has consistently been something that people are commentating on. And I
We've
Yep,
bought in.
exactly. And I think that is sustainable. I think that is sustainable for the long term, especially with the improvements that are made to the Delta Center. Or I don't think he has any plans to build an entirely new arena unless Salt Lake really plays hardball, and then he will. But I think he's going to just renovate that stadium. I've seen the mock-ups, and it looks incredible. And it's going to be just I mean, Salt Lake's always been kind of an under the radar sports town. The fans have always come out for the Jazz, always come out for college sports, and now they get one more professional sport. Obviously, the MLS team does very well, and the Rio Tinto Stadium's rocking. Now Delta Center is going to be rocking with hockey, and it's going to be awesome. And the team is rising to the occasion. It's one of those things where. It's hard to overreact because it is the preseason, but I choose to overreact in this because I saw so many positive things. And I don't think we ever fielded a team, with the exception of that opening preseason game, which was pretty much everybody. We had a good mix of our AHL guys and the NHL guys. Same thing. So I don't think it was ever like we fielded our A team against a bunch of B and C players. It was our A, B, and C against their A, B, and C. And I thought we did, other than the game against Anaheim, which was a fluke, I'm convinced, and we don't want to talk about it. But the rest of the preseason was just incredible. And you're right, Ian Cole.
We beat all the teams that matter.
Exactly.
The Ducks don't matter. We beat the teams that matter.
Yep, and we are going to beat the Ducks
So,
in the regular season when it matters. So it won't. The preseason result won't matter. But I agree with you 100%. Ian Cole played out of his mind this preseason, and I hope that that continues into the regular season. He was without a doubt the most physical defenseman that we had. He was always quick to the puck, and like you said, stay at home, shut down defenseman, which you kind of are maybe thinking like I don't, obviously he's not going to make it to the first line, but you're thinking, just veteran presence, good, solid stuff. But he really was like the premier. I mean, Sergachev was good. Like, don't get me wrong.
yep.
Sergachev and Dursey were both good as our top pairing, I think is what it'll end up being. But man, Ian Cole impressed me so much. And Dylan Guenther is my guy. I think that 8x8 contract is going to end up being awesome, because if we had let him go, we would have ended up paying him 10. He's probably going to be worth that, but we got him for 8 years at 8 million, which is a pretty standard elite player contract. Only a few guys get that above that 8x8. I mean, even Jeremy Swayman finally ended his shenanigans with the Bruins, and they settled by about an 8x8 contract. That's going to be what your A tier players get. And then the handful, I mean, we're talking 5 guys get into that 10, 11 a year range.
And then the one guy who doesn't actually deserve the 10 or 11, who still gets a 10 or 11 million contract from the Islanders. Looking at you, Rick DiPietro.
What about John Tavares? I think he makes 10 a million too. He just got the C stripped from him in Toronto.
Yeah, but that's Toronto money. That's Toronto money. They piss away money to not win Stanley Cups.
That's true. And speaking of money, I was looking at it. Did you know that Utah still has the 5th lowest cap in the league? So our hit against the
cap
doesn't
surprise me.
We still have about just under 9 million to play with. I don't expect any major signings. Obviously, our roster's pretty much set. We've got the guys we want. We can call up people. We'll see what shakes out in the regular season, but
I think the only thing that would change that is, say, one of the top lines, or Sergachev or Dursey, say one of the big guys goes down, that we still have enough draft picks and prospects and stuff where we can go and get somebody in a trade that maybe is being a little overpaid somewhere, but we still have that room to bring them in and be like, hey, okay, we could eat this one. Like, we can bring them in. And I like that strategy. It's way better to have the cap space and not need it than desperately need cap space like you're the Vegas Golden Knights and have to find ways to finagle it.
So one guy you're going to see on the in the NHL, maybe he's not going to play all 82 games, but you're going to see him this year. This point writ large is Kyler Yamamoto, who also had a really good, absolutely played his way to the NHL this preseason. We rewarded him with
I'm
a contract.
So glad we gave him that PTO. Yep, he earned that 1-year deal for sure.
Yep. And you'll see that year and year, and those guys that are kind of fringe, top end AHL, bottom end NHL guys, like it sounds, but this is professional sports, right? We're not being mean. We're not saying he's a trash player. We're saying that there's only 23 spots per team. It's only 23 roster spots per team, and not everybody can get in. But Kyler Yamamoto, absolutely.
There's only 12 forwards.
Exactly. And he absolutely took advantage.
There's only 12 forwards.
He absolutely took advantage.
He earned that, either the 10, 11, or 12 forward slot. He has earned it.
Even if he bounces back and
wasn't
forth.
he killing it in like Montreal 2 years ago?
He played Seattle last year.
See, like, he was doing, like, he killed it. So maybe a change of scenery is all he needs.
I think he's gonna be great. And if we have some more injuries to our top line guys, hopefully not. Nick Bjugstad, hope he gets well soon, is right now the only one.
Who's the Maca whatever kid?
Matthias Machiev?
Yeah, so he was in the game. He actually played a decent game. I was impressed a little bit by him. Not necessarily, he didn't do anything crazy. He has some good dekes. Like, he's pretty good at that whole, like, I'm going to throw the puck through your legs and kind of go around. Didn't turn into anything, but he's got silky hands, which was nice. One thing I didn't know, like, there wasn't a huge effort by a lot of not all the forwards, but there were a couple where it was like, all right, guys, like, I know it's preseason, but it's still Colorado, and you just got burned badly by like their third line. Like, what? Come on, man, you can't get burned by Casey Middlestat. What are we doing here? Like, what are we doing?
So I think if you look at
no offense,
how many there've been quite a number of injuries this preseason, and
yeah,
I think that played a factor into it. And I think there's a lot of talk about potentially reducing the number of preseason games because I think it's 7 now.
I don't think it's necessary. Is it really that necessary? Like, this is like, I'm not saying it's not necessary, but it's the NHL. Do you really need 5 or 6 preseason games to get like? You get like an extra week in training camp or whatever. Get 1 or 2 preseason games against, like, I don't know, like if you're your rival or whoever's closest, and then boom, get into the game. Like, it sucks when you see guys like Drew Doughty shatter their ankle on just a nothing play against somebody who's not going to be in the NHL this season. Like, that sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a hard pill to swallow. Like, that's, ooh.
You're at the very least, you may run into a problem. And now it's a lot easier to do this in like the NFL, where you can maybe play a starter for like 5% of the game, right? And then your backup plays the rest. You can't really do that in hockey.
You don't have that.
So
in
the
hockey.
problem is,
no, you don't have a bench.
The problem is you're just going to see your elite guys just not play in a preseason. And if they're not going to play, like, is there a point to it? And I would want to see maybe a 4-game preseason. So you play one home game, and then you play one away game against a team at their home arena, and then you play 2 exhibition games in markets that don't have NHL teams to grow the game. Like Utah hosted the Frozen Fury. Like Des Moines, Iowa had Utah's first preseason game. Like areas that have maybe a
go back to Arizona.
Exactly, right there.
Go to an exhibition game and
to markets that aren't represented in the NHL but still have a passion for hockey, to continue to keep that branding up and to continue to get those fans. And I think that would be a good compromise.
Or even play at like big college hockey towns, like go play a game in Notre Dame, go play a game at BC or something. Yep. Like one of the bigger arena. I'm not saying, like, I know those are small compared to NHL, but still, that could be a fun little thing. Like, go send your fucking AHL team or your AHL. Who gives a shit? Like, it'd still be fun.
Hey, speaking of going to big hockey towns, I was thinking today, as we transition from the preseason to the regular season, Utah is now a prime candidate for an outdoor game. And can you imagine an outdoor game up at Rice-Eccles Stadium?
The Rocky Mountain Bowl. Give us the outdoor game versus Colorado. Give us the Rocky Mountain Bowl. Or the Rocky Mountain game, whatever.
I would suspect that Utah has an outdoor game within 5 years. So 5 years, and and it's going to happen.
Fuck, do it at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Or do it at Rio Tinto's or whatever.
I think Rio Tinto wouldn't have enough tickets, and they would want his Rice-Eccles can get just under 50,000, I think. Can fit up there. So,
okay.
And then that's assuming you add no more seats, which you probably wouldn't. Historically, in those games, they don't add anything. I was fortunate enough to go to the Colorado one when they played at the Rockies baseball stadium, which was kind of weird, but really cool situation.
Coors Field.
And I think that Utah is climate-wise, obviously a no-brainer for bringing that outdoor game here. So fans, something to look forward to.
I think that played a role in our domination of Colorado. Is one thing the Avalanche have over every other team in the NHL is, we have the elevation. Like, you guys come to play us at home, it's good, and we're over here like, hi, we're good. Like, what's up? What do you want to do?
Playing on even footing, no shenanigans with lung capacity or anything. And we'll see.
Yeah, it's not gonna. They don't get to use that excuse on us. Like, oh, we were tired. That's what I call it. Nope, you guys suck. That's why you lost Colorado.
I just now I'm not convinced on Colorado. Not convinced at all. But they'll still make the playoffs. So Vegas is right out in the
first round. They're gonna lose in the first round to Winnipeg.
Probably. We'll have a date with Dallas, and it's going to be great.
Hope for 5. We hope for the gentleman sweep. Play for the gentleman sweep.
We'll see if we're good. But let's take a look at.
What, you think we're going to Detroit Tiger it?
Stranger things have happened.
And just sneak
8
in.
seeds have made it to the Stanley Cup often, and by often I mean like 3 times in the past 20 years, something like that.
And one of those was the Los Angeles Kings on the back of Jonathan Quick, which Utah, we jump on the back of Connor Ingram. I'm not saying Connor Ingram is Jonathan Quick, but I think the comparison is there. It could
Maybe
be.
not in terms of stylistically comparison, but in terms of the ability to
No,
elevate
but
the
the
team.
ability to dominate a
Yep.
game. Yeah, and to dominate a game and be able to be like, no, I'm winning this. All we need is one goal. And we got guys now who can do that. I think if we go the 2011 or the 12 Kings when they whatever year that if we go their strategy, barely sneak in as the 8 seed, everybody else is going to be tired from having to fight for a playoff spot, and we're just going to and then just sneak it on in.
We coast into those
Sneaky
93
stuff.
points in that 8th seed, and we're in it to win it, guys. We're in it to win it. Dallas is going to be fighting their tooth and nail to get the President's Trophy, and it's going to curse them.
Beating the shit out of Edmonton.
We win first round. So,
yep.
No, it's going to be fun, though. It's going to be a fun season, playoffs or not. It's going to be a lot of fun to see this team, to watch them grow, because there is a level here now. Obviously, the big news coming just a few days ago, Clayton Keller getting named the C, and I'm going to have some thoughts on that on the back end of the episode, but my initial reaction was that this signaled to the team that the rebuild is over, and each and every year now is compete for the playoffs, and that's the expectation. And I'll explain a little bit why a little bit later. But Ryan, I think you agree with Dustin and I that Clayton Keller was a great choice. I know the podcast is kind of been on team Schmaltz for captain and gotten flamed for it, but it's fun to discuss those things. But I think obviously Clayton Keller's an excellent choice, and he's going to do fine as a captain.
I think he was the right choice in this situation, because it's one of those things like, Sergachev could wear the C, Ian Cole could have wore the C, Dursey, hypothetically, if you really want to give it to him, could wear a C. Like, there's a bunch of guys who could, but to give it to a new guy coming in, I feel like you might have lost a couple, you know what I mean? You might lose a guy like Keller's heart. I'm not saying he would have, but he's the right choice to make, to say, hey, this is your team. It's been your team. Now do it. Like, here's the C, do it. Like, we're giving you the power, bud. You got this. And it's belief. He's just needed someone to believe in him. And Ryan Smith believes in this team. And I think just having an owner who finally cares about them and what they need, that's going to be the biggest difference. And that's what's going to give us a great season.
And we've got a great now podcast behind them. I don't know. Maybe the Arizona podcast was good, but not as good as the 2-line pass.
No. If it was good, they would have never lost the team.
Oh, I'm never going to stop blaming them. But let's talk, Ryan.
No, it's all their fault.
Let's put our thinking caps on. Eyes on October.
Our GM caps.
So the season starts. Chicago comes to town, 8 p.m. Tuesday. We've already talked Bedard's in there, but Chicago is not a playoff team, I don't think, by any stretch of the imagination. Does Utah take game 1 over Chicago?
Yes. Yep. I think being first home game, first game of the season, we're gonna bring everything, and it's gonna be I don't think it'll be like a blowout or a domination thing, but I think we'll get the win by, I don't know, call it 2 goals. We'll call it like a 3-2 win, maybe a 4-2, something like that. But I think Connor Ingram is going to play phenomenal in front of the crowd, and it's going to be a good game. But yeah, Bedard can change a game, but they're not built for the play. They're still in the midst of a rebuild. Bedard's he's in his sophomore season. He's not going to save the franchise yet.
Nope.
It's just not happening. He can't do it yet. But it'll be a fun game. Like, any game with Bedard in it is an exciting game to watch. He's going to be the face of the league in 10 years, 5 years, if even that. But yeah, I think it's a must-win kind of thing. Now, I don't think the fans are going to give up on us if they lose game 1. If we get blown out in game 1, oh god, oh shit! If fans start walking out in the second period, all right, I was wrong. I will. You know what? That happened. But I think if we play like we have been this preseason, and I don't see any reason why it would change. I feel like they shouldn't look at it as any more pressure than a preseason game. Like, you're a brand new team. There's no pressure on them to do anything. Everybody's just like, cool, you guys finally can be an NHL team. Let's see what happens. Like, we're not, there's no expectations. And even the expectations we do have are just from our own fan base. And those are biased.
Right.
Like, that's what we do.
I
But nobody's expecting
I
anything.
think everybody just like it's Utah right now is a popular dark horse to make the playoffs team, and we've talked about it. If they make the playoffs, it will be literally or by the skin of their teeth, right? We're not coming in and saying they're going to win the Central. No, they are a good team. They are much better than last year, and the additions that they brought in have made them a playoff contender, and have said we can compete with it year in year out. The Chicago Blackhawks are not there yet. They may be jazzed for their season opener, but home opener, give me Utah. And you're right, Connor Ingram. You guys are going to be shocked how good Connor Ingram is, and he's just an understated dude. I want to go have a drink with him or just chill out with him. He seems like a good guy to hang out with. So. But yeah, obviously we win that game. And then we immediately fly across the country and go play those pesky Islanders, the New York Islanders on October 10th. W or L against the Islanders.
Is that the Islanders home opener too?
I don't know if it's their home opener. It may be, though.
I'm going to probably say the Islanders take that one just based on I can't imagine the immediate flight across the country to. It's not fun. That's not going to be a fun game to play. So I'm no offense to the team. I'm not saying the Islanders are a good team. We could beat the Islanders. I don't think they're a very good team again. Like they're just whatever. But I feel like we'll go 1-1 to start the season.
1-1,
which isn't bad. I'll take 1-1.
1-1. I'm going to give us the W against the Islanders and give us a start to 2-0 because I think then we go into the much harder New York matchup. 2 days later, on the 12th, we play the Rangers in Madison Square Garden, and I suspect that we will lose that game. The Rangers are an elite team in the East, and I suspect that they will beat us, but maybe not. Maybe the day off in New York, they don't have to travel. Maybe they go to Times Square. The Utah Hockey Club gets out there, gets a mingling, and gets a slice of New York pizza, and then comes down and beats them. But nope, I see us losing to the Rangers. And then we take a straight shot south to, I don't know if you've checked the standings right now, but the undefeated and like the top 5 of 10 point getters in the NHL, the New Jersey Devils. Now, they and the Buffalo Sabres are the only two teams that have played in the regular season. They played over in Europe, but New Jersey got the better of the Buffalo Sabres twice. But I'm not sold on the New Jersey Devils, so I've got that chalked up as a win. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm not sold on the Devils either. I mean, beating Buffalo is really not much of a... It's like, no offense, as a former Sabres fan and kind of current Sabres fan, it's not a good team necessarily. I mean, playing across the country, sure. What is, you know what I mean? You're playing in a different country. That doesn't mean shit. Like, go win on home ice, New Jersey. I've hated the Devils for a long time. Never been a big fan, so I'm going to take Utah over the Devils all day long.
I have considered the New Jersey Devils a pack of cheaters since the mid '90s, and my thoughts have not stopped. But then in a strange scheduling, if we're talking about, if you look at the schedule, one thing fans will notice is they do geographically stay within it. Like you saw, they go the Islanders, Rangers, and then the New Jersey Devils, which is all a very close metropolitan area. But then after that game, they fly 2 days later and have to go play in Anaheim across the country. Anaheim, the 16th. Win or loss for the Utah Hockey Club?
That's a big win. Big win. We're going duck hunting. We're going duck hunting in October. And honestly, I am not sold on this core that the Ducks are trying to. I'm not sold on this Trevor Zegras guy. Like, I don't, maybe I haven't watched enough of his game, but I feel like he's just all flash. He's all flash in the pan. He doesn't want to play in the dirt. He doesn't want to get dirt. Like, he doesn't want to play the game. He just wants to score goals in pretty fashions and do the Michigan. It's not going to win you a Stanley Cup, guys. Not at all. And I'm not sold on him. I like John Gibson, the goalie. Move him. If I was John Gibson, get me out of there. But yeah, I think that's an easy win for Utah. Even after flying across the country. Easy win.
I will say, cool jerseys, still losing. Then they get a.
Though I don't understand the hate to the Ducks' new burnt
They're awesome.
orange jersey. I don't get it. I think they're sick. I don't know what people. The pants. Okay, maybe I'm not sold on the pants, but hey, the jersey itself is amazing. It's so sick.
Their new rebrand is on point. So, but New Jerseys don't mean that you're a good team. So they are going to get the big L. Then I've got a 3-game homestand coming up. We got the Bruins coming to town October 19th. This is the second home game of the year after a 4-game away stretch. They finally come back home on October 19th. How do you feel about Boston? They just got their goalie locked up for 8 years. Can we beat the Bruins at home?
So here, one thing fans will come to find out about this podcast is we're not going to sugarcoat. We're not gonna just blow up our team and blow smoke and think we're the best. No, we're not beating the Boston Bruins at home. We are. I don't mean this disrespectfully, but if you get a chance, folks at home, look up the size of the Boston Bruins defensemen. It is terrifying. We're not doing our forwards are gonna get manhandled by the like. I'm sorry. It's not gonna be a good win. But hey, if we all go into that just believing in the team, going, hey, we played good. Just play good, guys. Just play our game. It's okay.
Moral victories.
But yeah.
I got us 4-1. I got Utah. I'm optimistic. I got us 4-1 going into Boston. 4-2 coming out of that game, though. The East is quite good, and that particular team in the East is quite good. So Boston beats us. I really hoped
they had my pick to win the East.
I had really hoped that Swayman had still held out, because if he did, and there was still that contention, Boston doesn't have a goalie, and we have a chance to win. But Jeremy Swayman is...
Yeah, we smoke Korpisalo.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Jeremy Swayman is probably a top 5 goalie in the league, or very close, top 10 certainly, and he's very good.
And he's only getting better.
He's very good.
He's only getting better. Like,
there's a reason he held out, because he knew he was worth it.
What's our next game after Boston?
Then we got a big one against Ottawa, the Senators, coming in on Tuesday the 22nd. Give me the dubs. Give me the dubs.
Yep, we're taking that one. Yeah, again, Ottawa, no disrespect to their fans. They deserve better, but the team is not, it's not a competitive, you know what I mean? Like, they're still working on some stuff. I think, I'm going to predict we get an O'Brien, Brady Tkachuk scrap. I'm going to call that right out the gate. That'll be fun. I think that could be exciting. But other than that, yeah, we're going to take that game.
Yep.
We got that one.
You know, I really liked the Senators when they had Spezza and that other guy.
Big three.
Yeah, and now I can't even
Danny Alfredson and Heatley. Spezza, Heatley, Alfredson.
And they couldn't do anything with them, and they're not going to do anything with the bums they've got here. So
I mean, they tried. They did all they could, and then Danny Heatley killed that guy in the car, and they did their best. I mean, you know, that it blew up on them.
What can you do?
That franchise blew up.
What can you do? And they have
cool jerseys.
Yeah,
though.
I do.
I've always loved
like
the
Senators
jersey.
I do like the logo.
I appreciate. I don't know why. I just like it.
You guys are gonna see that and see that cool red with the black wings. It's a nice look. But we are going to score multiple.
Another thing you're going to hear here, fans, is we support hockey in general, and if you have a cool logo or a jersey, we're going to let you know. Is it cooler than ours? No, but it's still cool.
Speaking of not cooler than ours, the Bums from Colorado, the Avalanche, a game I'm actually going to October 24th. It'll be my first Utah Hockey Club. I will be in attendance shouting from the nosebleeds like my father and his father before him. Do we take this first regular season game away? We beat them twice in the preseason. Can we beat the Avalanche in game 1 in October? First time we play them. I say game 1, but
well, we have beat them twice, so that's a positive. But regular season and preseason get a little, like, competitiveness gets a little different. And one thing I did notice is we can't match the speed of Colorado. Not any of our, like, we're a fast team, don't get me wrong, but when Colorado wants to turn it, you can't touch, like, they are too fast. So I think it'll be a good game, hopefully, but You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna take the optimism. Give me 3-0 on Colorado for a
3-0 on
franchise.
Colorado.
We're going 3-0.
Well, they wouldn't let me down. They wouldn't let me down, and I'm really on board this. I'm going to ride it till I'm proven false, which is probably going to be very early in the season. That Nichushkin being suspended, he's, I think, the lifeblood of the team, and he's gone, and they're not going to do anything.
He's the lifeblood,
Yep.
all right.
And once he gets back in the lineup, he's going to inject their veins with some positivity, and they're going to go on a streak. But then,
a little bit of snow.
You wound up and you find a couple of dead hookers in his room, and he's gone again. And then the team collapses. So you heard it here first, folks. Give me the W against Colorado. Then we go to the Kings. We go 2 days later to Los Angeles, the 26th. W or L against the Kings.
So the Kings, I think, are a fun matchup for our team because they fall into the same kind of category as we do, where it's like, yeah, they have a good team on paper, but they're not necessarily a Stanley Cup favorite. They're kind of the back end fringe playoff teams. It's like, yeah, we'll probably sneak in a wild card. So those games to me feel more competitive just because the skill level matches more and it doesn't just turn into a blowout one way or another. But I think we got Colorado, or we got LA all day. You know, with Drew Doughty being out and with him not coming back anytime soon, I don't think LA's got a good year coming their way. He's the lifeblood of that team. So I'll take that down.
Could be a difficult one for the Kings. I do think we spent all our energy beating the Avalanche, and we're going to take the L against the Kings. So finally going to give them their what is now only my third loss of the season against the Kings. And then we got 2 home games to end October against at least one Powder Puff and one middle of the roader. First, San Jose Sharks come to town Monday the 28th. I'm giving it the big W because the Sharks are literally the worst team in the league.
And they might be the worst team ever assembled on ice. It's at the professional level, at least. Yeah. It might be better in 10 years, but right now that's a 15-win franchise. I mean, they won 17 last year, something like that. Or something. Yeah, that's a big easy dub. Dub.
We absolutely crushed San Jose. They have a bright future.
Macklin Celebrini's not saving you. He's not saving you this year.
No celebrating the Celebrini. Unfortunately, he is still young, and he's not nearly as good as Bedard in terms of his ability to try to elevate a team immediately. And even Bedard couldn't drag the lifeless corpses of the Chicago Blackhawks. Celebrini can't drag the lifeless corpses of the San Jose Sharks. Big W for us there. And then we get what is sure to be the newest rivalry in the NHL. This is going to be a historic one, guys. First game against our arch rivals and nemesis, the Calgary Flames. On Wednesday, October 30th, the day before Halloween. This one could get spooky. We took Tij Ginla from them, and they are out for blood. Do they get it? W or L against the Flames?
Nah, we're not getting burned by any Flames today. We're not melting under anything. No, we're taking that win. Because, again, Calgary falls into the Ottawa scenario where it's just not a team built to win at the moment. It'll probably be a decent... I hope this turns into a rivalry. I would love to see Liam O'Brien beat the Red off of some Calgary Flames members. Because, why not? Yeah, you guys... So what we took Tij Ginla. Maybe you should have treated his dad better or had a better draft pick. Suck it. What do you want from us? It's not our fault Ryan Smith is looking out for the team.
He got the hype.
I hope they call him up for that game. I think they should, just for shits and even though he's not ready, just call him up for the game. Fuck it, let him have it.
He and Cole Baudouin will not be even eligible to be called up. They will play in their.
Are they still in the WHL or whatever?
They both got sent to their minor leagues, and they are on basically I forget how it works, but their contracts don't. I can't even explain it right, but it's
like a 3-year entry level, right? Though, but it's different.
But they don't even their two-way contracts don't even impact. You can have up to 50 players on your roster, right? On your two-way roster, you can have up to 50, but those two are 2 of 3 that don't impact that. They're not on the they're still on the team, but they're not on the team.
But they're
Yeah.
not
And
on the
those two 18-year-olds are going to
team.
go crush the Baudouin already has his first goal of the year. And I'm assuming Tish is going to keep playing. But they are both going to be great in the future. In the future, probably won't see either of those guys for 2, 3, maybe even 4 years. We'll see. I hopefully before their entry level contracts are up. But yeah, the Calgary Flames are one of those teams where it's just kind of like they're like, yeah, they're kind of just they just exist, right? They're not good or bad.
They have
Mm-hmm.
moments. Like, they have
They
moments.
just
Sometimes they make the playoffs.
they
Sometimes
haven't
they
made a
don't.
deep run,
Ever
right?
since they
Yeah, they
traded
had Brady
Kachuk.
Kachuk on,
No.
so
Not since
yeah, they have
Kippersoff was
not
in net.
done. They had their chance, and unfortunately, when they had their chance, video replay wasn't a thing. Unfortunate, but you got to score no doubters. Calgary, you got to score no doubters, and things won't go downhill for you. But yeah, absolutely saying that.
I don't know. Dallas didn't have to score no
Listen, you can
doubters for
skate
their
into the
Stanley
goalie now.
Cup.
There is no such
Fucking
thing
no
as goaltender
goal.
interference in the modern NHL, and there was no such thing in the past.
Not for that, at least. I don't understand that rule. So did they change where it's like, yeah, you can't be in the crease? Like, you can just be in the crease now for a goal, right? Like, it's just fine. Nobody cares anymore.
Actually impede the goalie to like there is no penalty for man in the crease.
Or you just have to get pushed into him, and that's still your fault because their team was like, oh, if I just push you into my goalie, you're going to get the penalty because you fell on my goalie.
It's a toss-up. It's a flip a coin. Was it, wasn't it? We don't know. It's like the ACC officials, Are they on the take? I don't know. People are saying. I'm not saying. People are saying. Okay? I'm not saying that the ACC officials are on the take, and I'm not saying that there's any NHL officials. People are
That's
saying
just what
that.
people say.
People have in the past implied that. I haven't. I would never impugn the honor of the NHL officiating crew, and
Yeah.
I would invite a few of them onto this podcast because that's how highly I view officials. But I want to officially go on record with one thing. I have been probably overly optimistic. I have them going 8-3 through October, which I think would shatter expectations, and it's probably likely wrong. But both of us through October, I think there's just so much hype, so much excitement. And looking at our October schedule, there are very winnable games there where if we go out of October with a losing record, that is extremely disappointed and the team is not playing up to their caliber. Getting out of October with at least a 7-4 type record, a little bit above 500 is absolutely reasonable. Absolutely reasonable. And so one thing I want to go on record, I hinted at this that I was going to go on this soapbox, but talking about captainship. So Clayton Keller is the captain of the Utah Hockey Club, first captain of the franchise. And if you weren't paying attention, he's the first captain of this team in the past 4 years. Under Coach T, because I refuse to call him Bear, unless he personally tells me, Randon, please call me Bear. But Coach T did not believe in naming a captain until he felt that it was right. And he had a few reasons for not naming a captain. And one of his biggest reasons was he felt that once you name a captain, that you get a lot of unnecessary pressure and the captain takes unnecessary flack when the team underperforms. Okay. And then he obviously gives the same, a player's got to establish themselves as a leader and they've got to do everything that they can do to be a leader. Well, Clayton Keller, I think, has done what he needs to do, but didn't get named captain until this season. So what changed, right? And if you're looking at a few things that changed, was it Clayton Keller? Was he not a leader then, and now he's suddenly a leader? No, that's not the case, right? He had the A for all 3 of Coach T's seasons. And if you look at it realistically, to say that anybody wearing the A in that 3A system could be the captain, right? All alternate captains could be the captain. So you're saying he's good enough to be a part of a group leadership, but is he good enough to be the single leader? I don't think that factored into it. What factored into it is the last 3 years, Arizona sucked. And they knew they were going to suck. Everybody knew they were going to suck. And he didn't want Clayton Keller to get flack for a team that he knew would suck. And so naming a captain now with the moves that you've made says to me not that Clayton Keller is magically ready now. It's that this team doesn't suck anymore, right? This team is ready to compete year after year. The rebuild is officially over. At this point, if we're bad, it's not because we're in rebuild. It's because we're poorly coached and the team is not playing up to their potential, because this roster right now can compete for a playoff spot this year. And the roster with the young depth that we have will get better and better and better and better, which was not the case necessarily the past 3 years, where they kind of middled and didn't like. I mean, there was improvement by like 1 or 2 points per season, but nothing drastic. But now with some off season non draft movement, you position the team to now be competitive. And that's why he named Clayton Keller the captain now, because now Clayton Keller has a good team around him and he's not going to take the blame for being crappy, right? And I don't think that Utah fans are going to blame Clayton Keller as a captain, right? Unless it shows that he is like a, well, Utah fans might know, like a Ryan Kanasowicz type captain. Greatest single producing player in Utah Grizzlies history, but he was a very much a I've done enough player. His personal performance in his eyes was enough for him not to do anything else. I don't believe Clayton Keller is that style of player, and I think that he will hold himself and his teammates accountable for production and wins. And that's why now you have a team that needs a captain, and they got a captain instead of this crappy captain by committee, which we've always said sucks. So I'm glad. I'm glad Coach T named Clayton Keller the captain. I'm glad it was him. He earned it. He deserved it. He's going to be great. And we'll see how we do. But that's just my soapbox. I'm done with my soapbox on captains. Thank you. Thank you.
No, that was a great soapbox rant there. That was great. And I couldn't agree more because, like, yeah, if you're on a shitty team and having a young captain just get all the blame because they're he's not going to want to stay. He's not going to want to be here. But now that you build the team around him, where it's like, okay, if we lose, it's not just his fault, or it won't be just his fault. Like, it can't be. We got a team around him where they can pick up if he does falter. But I think he's going to have a great year. I think he's going to take that being named captain and fucking take off with it.
I think it does mean something to NHL players. I think that when there is no captain, they probably all put on a brave face and say, oh, yeah, we don't care. We buy into the system and we can all do this, blah, 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 blah. They know it all means something. They know they all want it. You know, you grow up dreaming to have the C on your name. You know, Sidney Crosby didn't be like, well, we could have been anybody, really. Could have been anybody that was the captain. No, it's Sidney Crosby's team. He's going to be the captain. Could have been anybody. Alexander Ovechkin didn't need to be the captain. No, it's Alexander Ovechkin's team, and he's going to be the captain. Like, that's...
No, it's his team, yeah. Steven Stamkos in Tampa Bay. That was his team. That's how it works. Like, if it's your team, it's your team. Clayton, this is your team, buddy. Let's do it.
You see it in Toronto, right? They took away the captain from John Tavares, who is captain material, but he's old and he's not the future of the Leafs. They give to Mitch Marner, who's the future of the Leafs, right? Now,
no, it's Austin Matthews.
Austin Matthews. What did I say? Mitch Marner? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
not Mitch Marner.
Yeah.
Who is the future?
I was like, when the fuck did that happen?
Mitch Marner's better. Going on record, Mitch Marner's better. No, but Austin Matthews, excuse me. Austin Matthews, right? It's his team, right? He is the future of the Leafs, right? And so they give him the C. And that's just the way it works in the NHL now. Maybe in the past it was more of a you give it to a gritty defenseman, but now it's usually equate the best player is also likely the captain, or if maybe not even the best player, but like the franchise's hopes and dreams rest on Clayton Keller, for better or worse, the pressure of that, you know, but he's not a kid anymore. He's not a 19-year-old kid with the pressure of, Connor Bedard or anybody. He's a 25, 26-year-old kid now who's had multiple NHL seasons to prepare for this, to mentally and physically be that guy. And now he's going to be that guy, and it's going to be great. Utah, we have a great captain. We finally have NHL hockey in Utah. It happens. You're going to listen to us. You're going to hear our voices in just about 16 hours, because we're going to give you the post-game, show you exactly what happened tonight against Chicago. But Ryan, do you have any closing thoughts today before we send the listeners out to watch this game?
Get on the bandwagon now, because if you jump on this bandwagon in February when we're looking at a wild card playoff spot, I'm not going to accept you. I'm sorry. You've had it all. Like, you jump on now and watch it. Like, it's only going up. This roller coaster can only go up. Like, it's theirs. Like, it can only go up, guys.
I'm going to make the meme of that Danny DeVito meme, where the he's reaching over to pull the guy up from the building, and then Danny DeVito comes with a 2x4 and is hitting the guy to keep him down. That's you. And the guys, the bandwagon fans are reaching, and you're saying, nope, not today. Not today.
No, you had your chances.
There it is, guys. Come join the Utah Hockey Club. Come watch. It's going to be an amazing season. Hockey is an amazing game, and you've got an amazing podcast right here. The Two Line Pass podcast is going to be with you every step of the way. We're going to hold your hand. We're going to go on this journey together. You're going to love it. We're going to cuddle in the back seat of a convertible, right? We're going to look outside of Lover's Lane, and we're going to just caress you into our bodies and our hearts with the Two Line Pass podcast. Guys, thanks so much for listening. I'm Randon. Thanks, Ryan. Dustin, hey, thanks for coming out, buddy, but we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Two Line Pass podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at the Two Line Pass. You can follow Dustin at HighlightsUt. You can follow Randon at TLP Randon and Ryan at Carnes Ryan 0420. During the off-season, new episodes of the podcast drop every Wednesday with bonus episodes throughout. And during the season, we will have our weekly show plus game day episodes so you don't miss a minute of the action.